The Honorable Governor for Madang.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Look so the people of Madang. Mr. Deputy Speaker, my series of questions is directed to the Minister for Mining, and I'd like the Prime Minister to take note. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I come from a mining province. My series of questions relates to the Ramu nickel and cobalt mining in Madang province, which is managed and operated by the Ramu NiCo Management Limited. Mr. Deputy Speaker, my first series of questions relate to the review of Memorandum of Agreement, or MOA, relating to Ramu NiCo cobalt mining in Madang province. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the MOA is reviewed every 5 years since the mining commenced in 2000. The last review was done in 2013, which expired in 2018. Mr. Deputy Speaker, since being appointed as Minister for Mining in the Maraperoso government, were you being briefed of and are now aware of the expiry of the MOA in 2018, and Ramu NiCo cobalt mining has been going on and operating for the last 4 years without a MOA. Legally speaking, Mr. Speaker, the Ramu NiCo cobalt mining was and is unlawfully in operation for 4 consecutive years now and running. In other words, there is no legally binding memorandum of agreement between the stakeholders for 4 consecutive years. My first question is, Mr. Deputy Speaker, can the Minister for Mining confirm to the people of Madang through this House that he had received my letter dated 1st of November 2022 requesting him to immediately sanction a review of the MOA within 14 days? My second question is, Mr. Speaker, can the Minister of Mining inform the people of Madang through this House if he has any plans to conduct a review of the MOA before the end of this year? Mr. Speaker, my second series of questions relates to the payment of development levy by a developer of natural resources in this country pursuant to Section 98 of the Organic Law on Provincial and Local Level Government. Mr. Deputy Speaker, it is mandatory by Section 98 of the Organic Law on Provincial and Local Level Government that a developer of a natural resources shall pay out of his own cost development levy to the affected provincial and local level governments. Thus, the same law also provides that an act of parliament shall be enacted to cater for the rates to which the development levies shall be paid, the management of it, the sharing arrangement between the affected provincial government and the local level governments, and the application of the funds. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I am aware that for the development of petroleum resources like oil and gas, the Oil and Gas Act caters for that. And this has been incorporated into the benefit sharing agreements, resulting in the developer of the PNG LNG now paying development levies annually to the affected provincial government and local level governments. Mr. Speaker, I am also aware that in the logging industry, developers pay development levies in the form of log export development levy to the provincial and local level governments. My question is, Mr. Speaker, can the Minister for Mining inform this House why there is no provision in the Mining Act 1992 regarding the rates at which the development levy will be paid, the management of it, the sharing arrangement between the affected provincial and local level governments, and the application of the funds as dictated by Section 98 of the Organic Law on Provincial and Local Level Government? My second question is, Mr. Speaker, can the Minister for Mining confirm to this House that the non-adherence or compliance of Section 98 of the Organic Law on Provincial and Local Level Government by the Mining Act 1992 is a serious constitutional breach? And if so, can the Minister act in rectifying it immediately? Mr. Deputy Speaker, my last series of questions concerns the illegal mine of chromite by the developer Ramu NiCo. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the mining lease granted to Ramu NiCo Management Limited was only to mine the nickel and cobalt and no other minerals. Mr. Deputy Speaker, it has come to my attention and knowledge that the Ramu NiCo Management Limited has been extracting chromite as well as nickel and cobalt. Since chromite is a highly corrosive material, it has not been piped down from Krumbukare to Basamuk in Raigos. Chromite had been mined since the commencement of the mining and has been transported to Leh from Krumbukare in Madang and shipped to China without any detection by the authorities. Mr. Deputy Speaker, hundreds of millions of kina had been made by this illegal mining of chromite. My question is, Mr. Deputy Speaker, is the Minister for Mining aware of this illegal mining of chromite by the Ramu NiCo Management Limited? Secondly, Mr. Deputy Speaker, can the Minister also assure this House and the people of Madang that such illegality will be addressed immediately and rectified? Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
The Honourable Minister for Mining.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Thank you for this very long, detailed, and substantive question. Mr. Speaker, this question deserves a very good reply, substantive reply, because the people of Madang want to be, are interested in hearing the substance and the details of this question. I will therefore ask, Mr. Speaker, that the question be put on notice so that it can be answered properly with all those important issues that have been raised. I want to answer them properly. And the only way I can properly answer them is go through with my department, with the experts who has got the historical or institutional memory of what has happened in the past, so that we can sit down and provide a proper answer that I can give to the member, who will then provide it to his people. But generally, Mr. Speaker, there has been questions raised about this mine many times, and there has been allegations about the illegal or improper practices that the member has raised. Mr. Speaker, I have also been aware of those questions in general, but I have not had the opportunity to look at them in detail. So I would like to ask the member to put those questions on notice paper so that I can answer them properly. But Mr. Speaker, before I sit down, I also want to point out that questions like this are important questions, and they deserve to be answered properly. They need to be given the justice they deserve. So I would also suggest to you, Mr. Speaker, that you look at changing the rules of questions on the floor of this Parliament. Questions of this nature must be given notice of. At least one day, so that ministers on the floor of Parliament can do some preparations and answer them, because we are not Superman. We must be prepared to answer these questions. Sometimes we bring very important questions on the floor of Parliament, and we are not in a position to give the detailed answers. So, Mr. Speaker, I would suggest that you look at, you and your Speaker, Mr. Acting Speaker, you look at with the Speaker and provide a procedure under which important technical questions like this can be given to you a day before they are asked on the floor of Parliament, so that all of us, all the ministers, can give it to our departments and they can provide the answers, and we can then provide it on the floor of Parliament. Because every time you're asking important questions like this, your people are hearing it throughout the world and hearing it in their own villages, but it is going worldwide. So the answer must also be properly prepared so that the people can hear the substantive and the real answers to the questions. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.